hear them, and it's only through the years of playing an instrument without any reason other than just because you love doing it that eventually you learn the chords, you learn the intervals, you learn all kinds of musical references by learning other people's music, and gradually what you hear in your head can come out. It's really, there's nothing intimidating about the process other than maybe you've got to put some time into developing a relationship with an instrument or two. Um, I, I, I just don't think people should be so threatened with this idea of being great, because there's just the only people who have any right to say what's great or not are, I don't know, the main, like, people like Stravinsky or, or Bartok or somebody like they had certain criteria by which they judged music, but they they knew from the beginning that it was ineffable. They weren't trying to describe it. They would describe their criteria based on in a theoretical way, and just the same way jazz musicians would discuss it or something. The idea that music's begun to be judged by by the feeling that a star generates in the minds of people, it's really confused the issue. So I really believe that people should get back to seeing music for what it actually is, and not for these things, not not for not for the people who play it, or the various ways in which it's sold. Um, something an interesting definition of music that I heard was that, or an interesting description of it is that it's a it's sound, it's it's a coordinate point between sound and human intelligence. It's the meeting of those two things. Sound on its own isn't music, as much as John Cage might have loved the sound of traffic in New York, or as much as we might like the sound of birds singing. It's not music until it's organized by human thought, and and the fact that sound even enters our ears and then turns from a waveform into a electrical current in our brain, and that transfers, and then that becomes a musical feeling, and then we have the fact that music constantly is turning into from one thing into another. It's just one of those things that's just happening, and we have no idea why. It's like scientists can only explain what's happening, but they can't explain why it's happening. Yeah, so a good description of what music is, that I've heard, is that it's sound being organized by human thought or by human intelligence. Uh, the idea that as much as we might hear things that seem musical to us in traffic noise, or in the sound of birds singing, it's not actually music until it's organized by human intelligence. And the fact that the fact that sound that a sound may start as a physical motion that's hitting a string that vibrates, and then that string turns into electricity that goes through a pickup and then goes through a chord, and then and then and then and then comes out of a speaker, and it becomes a waveform, and then the way that the air molecules are being moved around is makes an impression on a microphone that turns it again into electrical current, and then it can become a sound on a tape, and then it can be another waveform in the air, and go into a person's ear, and go from being air again to being electrical current again in the person's brain. Uh, this is just a process that it's something that we don't understand. We can describe it and we can control it, um, but we have no idea why it's happening. Scientists can explain what is happening, and we can understand what the laws are that make that that we can understand what the laws are that are in effect when this is happening, but we don't understand why it's happening. We don't. It's pretty much like the process I just described. It's the equivalent of the idea of reincarnation, of one person becoming something else. It's really all that's ever happening. Nothing's ever dying. And anyways, and I think even a musical. Even a song, the fact that you only hear it at that single point of right now, yet it's a series of moments, but it never occurs any other time than right now. Each moment in a song is sort of dying and becoming something else as the whole thing's going along. It's basically just that idea of reincarnation, just moving through the course of a 4-minute song or whatever. It's one section turns into another section, and then goes back into being another section, and gradually builds and grows, and you know, why all this is possible, why reality isn't like dreams where things just all of a sudden you're in one place, and then for no apparent reason, and by having nothing to do with your own will, you're somewhere else. The fact that reality isn't like that, also nobody can explain why it's that way. You know, it's and so to be satisfied with some sort of explanation of what's happening rather than why it's happening is just silly. And you're just people who are satisfied with those kind of explanations are just are I just think that they're ignoring half of what's going on, because you know, half of it is that it's happening, half of it is that there's something that's making it happen. And I guess people, you know, sometimes things that we don't understand are scary. Death is scary because we don't understand it, and I guess we put a lot of things that we don't understand in that category because so many of us are so scared of death. But you know, it's this process that we're sort of living into, and these laws of nature that make all these, the perpetuation of reality, the fact that yesterday doesn't die, that it still remains as a thought, and what we put on the shelf the day before is still there the next day. The fact that kind of consistency is running through things, the fact that there is a permanency of matter is also something that we should just be happy that it's that way. It could be so many other ways, and you can see that from your dreams. It's like reality could be really hard to get your handle on at all, you know. And luckily we're given this gift of being able to practice something and grow familiar with the laws of music and the laws of nature, and gradually be able to create something in the same way that the sun has created us. That you know, that the sun is sort of teaching us that lesson in the fact that it's revolving, doing the same thing every day. It's telling us all that if you do the same thing every day, you can build and build, and things will grow as a result of your doing that thing over and over. Everybody knows this. They're all getting jobs and stuff. They think they're just getting jobs because they want to make money, but it's because it's just the way nature works. Nature works in circles. Nature works in cycles, and if you ignore those cycles, if you just sit around and do nothing all the time, or if you don't follow the interests inside you that compel you to do things, your life will gradually just lose meaning till you're old, you know. Or if you do something that it's not your will to do, your life will also lose meaning till you're old.